You think your dog is just being hyper when they suddenly sprint across the house like a maniac, running in circles, sliding on the floor, crashing into furniture. But there's something deeper happening, something instinctive, something emotional that most people completely misunderstand. Because to you, it looks like chaos, random energy, even misbehavior. But to your dog, it's purposeful. And there's one specific moment in this behavior that reveals everything. We'll get to that later. Most people never realize that these sudden bursts of energy, what we call zoomies, are not random at all. You might be missing something important every time you laugh it off or try to stop it. What nobody tells you is your dog is actually releasing something built up inside them. And if you don't understand what that something is, you miss the entire meaning behind it. Have you ever noticed how it starts? Your dog is calm, maybe lying down, maybe just walking around normally. And then suddenly something shifts. Their body tenses, their eyes light up, and within seconds, they're flying across the room like they've lost control. But this isn't loss of control, this is release. Dogs store energy throughout the day, physical energy from not moving enough, mental energy from stimulation, excitement, even stress. And when that energy reaches a certain point, it has to go somewhere. That sprint around your house isn't chaos, it's a reset. That's not just running. That's your dog regulating their body, and if you think about it, you've probably seen it happen at very specific times, right after a bath, after being inside for too long, after a moment of excitement, like when you come home or grab their leash. That's not coincidence, that's a trigger. Because when something builds up, something has to release it. But here's where it gets deeper. Have you ever noticed the expression on your dog's face during those zoomies? It's not anger, it's not fear, it's something else. It's pure emotion, excitement, joy. Sometimes even relief. This isn't just physical movement, it's emotional expression. Because dogs don't process emotions the way humans do. They don't sit and think through stress or excitement, they move through it, literally. So when your dog suddenly explodes into motion, that's not random behavior, that's feeling in motion. That's not just energy, that's emotion being released. And this is the part most people miss completely, because what looks funny on the outside can actually be something important on the inside. Now here's something that might surprise you, and this is where things shift from interesting to something you should really pay attention to. Not all zoomies are the same. Sometimes they're joyful, but other times they can be a signal. If your dog is having zoomies constantly, excessively, or in situations where they seem unable to settle afterward, that's not just normal release anymore. That could be overstimulation. That could be stress. That could be your dog trying to cope with something they can't process calmly. And this is where most people get it wrong. They either encourage it too much or try to shut it down completely without understanding what's actually causing it. Because this isn't just about movement, it's about what's building up underneath. And if you ignore that, you miss the message. Now here's the moment that reveals everything. Watch your dog right before the zoomies begin. Not during, not after, before. That tiny shift in their body, the sudden alertness, the way they look around, the tension that builds just for a second. That moment tells you everything, because if it's pure excitement, it feels light, playful, almost contagious. But if it's stress or overstimulation, there's a different energy, a restlessness, a lack of control, a kind of urgency that doesn't fully resolve even after the running stops. And that difference is what most people never notice. Because zoomies aren't just about running, they're about release, they're about balance. They're about your dog trying to return to a state of calm in the only way they know how. And when you start seeing it that way, everything changes. You stop seeing it as random craziness. You start seeing it as communication, a signal that says, I need to let this out. And maybe the most powerful part of all this is what it says about your dog's trust in you. Because your dog feels safe enough to let go, to run wildly, to express themselves fully without holding back. That's not just behavior. That's comfort. That's your dog saying, I can be myself here. And that matters more than you think, because in the wild, that kind of vulnerability doesn't exist. But in your home, it does. And that means you've created something deeper than just a space. You've created safety. So the next time your dog suddenly starts zooming around the house, don't just see the chaos. Don't just laugh it off. Pause for a moment. Watch closely. Because in that burst of energy, there's emotion, instinct, and communication all happening at once. And if this made you see your dog differently, even just a little, then maybe you're starting to understand them in a way most people never do.